Noah's Ark. It's a story from the Bible.
Hmm.
From the
Yes.
what do we know from the Bible that's valuable to us right now, and what's the significance of Noah's Ark, both historically and theologically speaking?
Are you a believer in the story, or are you atheist, or do you?
Um, well, I'm a believer. I'm Catholic.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if I believe in the ark as a literal story,
Or you
historically
might be.
speaking, more
Okay.
metaphorically or whatever. I mean,
Okay.
I'm open, but
Yeah. Okay. Well, in the Bible, yeah, you know, then there's a story of Noah and the flood,
mhm,
Genesis chapters 6, 7, and 8. In these chapter, according to the biblical account, the world was wicked, and God found one man who was righteous. His name was Noah. He had a family, and God told him that he was going to destroy the earth and for him to build an ark. And so the Bible gives very general um, information about the ark. It says it was 300 cubits wide, 50 cubits, long, 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. So not very specific. It had three decks, one door, and a window at the top. It doesn't mention anything else, like where they slept, where's the restrooms, how many animals, but it said that this was made for the animals and Noah and his family to survive the flood. According to the Bible, Old and New Testament, Noah and his family, which would be 8 people total, survived a worldwide flood that destroyed the earth and the animals that were inside the ark. So then in Genesis chapter 8, it says that after the flood ended, the boat landed in the mountains of Ararat. Now, the English word Ararat actually comes from the name of an ancient country that used to be there during the Iron Age, especially.
mm,
It's Urartu. This kingdom of Urartu was a mountainous kingdom in eastern Turkey and into Armenia and parts of Iran. And this location given in the Bible is not a specific peak. It doesn't say this mountain or this GPS location. It says the mountains of this country. And so it's a broader area. That's where this boat-shaped object is in that area. Of course, there's many people in the past and then currently looking for it in other locations, and others, believe the site that we're researching as the ark. Many others do not believe, and they're looking still. So you have different ideas as to where the ark could be. We're the only site that actually has an actual physical site you can go walk on and look at and research. And from the biblical standpoint, that's the story. Whether it's literary or not, if we can prove that this is Yark, then I think that would show whether it's just a story for like teaching morals or not. Definitely, the story is repeated in the New Testament by Christ and the disciples and the author of the different books in the New Testament who mentioned that the story will be similar to the end of days, the end of the earth. Christ mentions, as in the days of Noah, so shall it be when the coming of the Son of Man. So you have that connection between the end of the days, end of the earth, and the wickedness during the time of Noah. Um, in regards to, let's see what else. I think that kind of covers the biblical story. Um, being, it's not that very detailed in the Bible, and that's kind of where that's why there's a lot of mystery as to where it is, for example, and if it's even real, because it's you're talking about a global disaster and obviously a story, a miracle, because a boat with people and animals surviving.
yeah, okay. Um, I want to go back on a few things you said. But first of all, regardless of whether the story is real or not, literally speaking, uh, there appears to be evidence that there was or that there could have been a flood, right? I mean, the flood story is a story that has appeared practically in all religions, right? And there have been some scientific studies that point that there could have been a flood. I mean, not necessarily a flood that flooded
The
the
whole earth,
entire Earth,
yeah.
but some
Yeah.
catastrophic events that had to do with lots of raining that changed the way of the world, right?
Yeah, definitely the story is, worldwide. You find it in many cultures. Someone did research on this, and at this time, I can't think off the top of my head, but, I don't know if there's, like, a couple hundred stories worldwide that had the same type of idea where there was a water involved, a flood, and people had to build some type of, vessel to survive. And so, of course, the most famous ones are the Gilgamesh epic, and the other ones associated with Mesopotamia, which are older than they're outside the Bible, but they're even older than the biblical account, and have very similar aspects of a family and the animals surviving. So, yeah, for sure, there's a global aspect to this story, and whether the flood itself is global, people can debate it, but definitely it was a disaster that left an impression on people around the world somehow. So whether that means they had a common flood story that just spread out, or there was a common event that was around the world, and people then remembered it later. It's definitely interesting. Beyond that, I don't have much more details, but I do, think there's elements that are true in it. For me, the whole thing is true, but if someone wants to debate whether it's global or not, that's another thing. But definitely, I don't think the whole thing is fake.
Yeah. Well, that's very interesting because I mean, as you said, if the same story, generally speaking, appears over and over in different religions, I mean, it kind of points to a shared common history, right? That sometime it
Yeah,
could have happened.
I mean, and you could even say if you believe in the biblical account with the flood, then you'd even believe in the Tower of Babel, which has this idea that after the flood, mankind was spread out by God. They were trying to stay all together and build one city and one tower, and then God dispersed them repopulate the earth. So you can say they took that story with them in their own languages
Mm,
and took it to wherever they ended up migrating to around the world. So that's one mechanism in the Bible that was explain how the story spread out. That they were all from one area, and if you believe the biblical account, then it would be coming from somewhere in the Middle East, whether it's Mesopotamia or Turkey. This idea that people spread out from there after the flood.